Hey, what's going on? I'm Quis here at Sports Vibes TV, and I'm live, joined by my co-host Inf. Inf, how's everything with you, bro?
Good as always. Preseason's tomorrow, so it's about to be lit.
Yeah, preseason starting soon. For the Knicks, we've got a game coming up, but I want to talk about Knicks media today. So, Inf, we're going to be looking at a few parts of the interviews that I thought were pretty interesting. So, we're going to talk about what we're also going to talk about something from Bagley as well, because Inf, we've got an update with Mitch, and Bagley apparently is saying that Mitch may not even be ready to start the season.
Is anybody surprised? Come on. Where's JD at? Is anybody surprised?
Call it out, JD. I'm surprised personally because if you remember in the playoffs, there were kind of news and rumors that Mitchell might make an appearance. And then when I was out there in Vegas in Summer League, I saw Mitch. There were also photos out there of Mitch working with Kenny Payne in Vegas. So now that they're saying he's not even doing too much running, he's just doing like light jogs out there. That to me is perplexing. Like, was there a setback that we don't know about? What changed from that point in time till now? And the only thing I can think of is maybe they want to ramp him up slowly, seeing that he threw on the additional weight. That's the only thing I could think of.
Nah, I think it's more like he probably got hurt in the off season doing something, and they just haven't disclosed it because they didn't need surgery or anything. Maybe it's a tweak or something like that, or it could be, yeah, like you said, the weight. But all I know is that he got glass bones.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this clip from Bagley in which he's discussing the current situation with Mitchell Robinson. All right, so Inf, pay attention. Let's see if you can pick up anything from Bagley that might give us some hints as to what's going on.
Timetable for Mitchell Robinson's return to the court, and it sounds like he may not be ready for the opening night of the Knicks season on October 20th. Robinson suffered a foot fracture in the middle of last season, and he underwent surgery to repair that foot fracture. He's been rehabbing ever since, but he hasn't yet been cleared to return to the practice court. Tom Thibodeau said on Thursday that Robinson still had several hurdles to clear before the Knicks medical team would let him back on the court to play 5-on-5 and take full contact. Robinson said that he's been running during his rehab, but he hasn't yet started to fully sprint. Now, Tom Thibodeau has been very complimentary of the way Mitchell Robinson has handled his rehab this offseason, and he said Robinson was playing very well before he got hurt last March. And this is a big year coming up for Mitchell Robinson. Going into year 4, he's scheduled to be an unrestricted free agent this summer. The Knicks can offer him a contract extension during the season, and really up until the eve of free agency, that extension is as much as 4 years and around $54 million. But earlier in the offseason, the Knicks had made it known to some people that they probably were not going to come to an agreement with Robinson early in the season. They wanted to take a look at Robinson over the course of the year before they made a longer-term decision on their fourth-year center. That was their thinking earlier in the offseason. Things can always change in the NBA, but it wouldn't be a surprise at all if the Knicks took that wait-and-see approach with Robinson. Wait for him to get back on the court, see how he looks, and then make a decision on his long-term future in New York.
All right, and also want to say shout out to Anudi. This is exactly why he's a mod, because he's leading me to where I was about to go. I think this confirms that Mitch had a Jones fracture because they never came out and said what type of fracture. They said he fractured his 5th metatarsal of his foot, but they never said if it was an avulsion fracture or if it was a Jones fracture. Now, the Jones fracture is the more serious kind because that has about a 40% chance of reoccurring. So to me, to see them babying Mitch in this fashion, it definitely tells me that it was a Jones fracture. And at this point, I don't really need them to confirm it.
First of all, salute Anodi. Listen, man, all I heard from Ian Bigley's whole spiel is that with the Knicks taking this wait and see approach, there's a chance that we could trade him at the trade deadline. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, man. Get this man off the roster.
No, that is a possibility. I still think Mitch could be a solid piece for this team. And I think they're taking the wait and see approach because they do think he has a future with this team. And they don't want to rush him out too early and potentially have him re-aggravate that injury. I think if you heard also, they're looking, the most that they can give him right now is 4 years, 54 mil. That's right around what Robert Williams got from the Celtics. I think his was a few million less. But I think this is a big season for Mitch, and I think the team is looking out for Mitchell Robinson's best interest by not forcing him out there too soon. They babied him last postseason in the Hawks series by not trying to throw him out there, and I think they're doing the same here. Babying him along, trying to make sure that there's no hiccups in preseason, and then have him fully available at some point in the beginning portion of the season.
No, I mean, I think I was taking it more as just making sure that his trade value doesn't diminish any further. Same thing, taking their time with him, eventually playing him in spurts up until the trade deadline, and then see what we can get. Because if like what you said, if it's a Jones fracture, there's a 40% chance that it can occur again. Like, is that who you really want to ink down for 4 years? Somebody who has a 40% chance of getting the same exact injury. And then I didn't realize that he wasn't working on his legs and he was just jogging because he put on a lot of weight up top. Mm-hmm. So that's gonna aggravate that foot if he didn't work out his legs at all.
Yeah, you would. Yeah. Also, there was an interview during Mitch where he said himself that he really wasn't doing too much activities with his lower body. He couldn't be too mobile, so he did a lot of working out of the upper body. So that a little concerning as well. And thank you for pointing that out, because if he didn't do anything to solidify those legs of his, which is going to have to hold up this new additional weight, then that could be a recipe for trouble. I just hope this isn't a situation like you see with my Mets, where you see players go out and do their own off-season training, come back, and then the Mets are like, "Oh, we didn't know you did that." So if he was doing it with some sort of training regimen that was approved by the Knicks, then I would have to defer to the training staff. They're most likely more knowledgeable about me when it comes to those type of things. But I just hope that this isn't something that rears its head as we move forward in the season, because this is a different type of year. There's a lot more expectations on this team. So for us to not go out there fully equipped with our best lineup, to have a fighting chance in an East that's much tougher, then, that's not a great way for us to start this season, especially when you have players on this team that have injury concerns as well.
No, I mean, that's fair. I don't know. I'm OD concerned right now when it comes to Mitch, just simply because I had no idea he wasn't working out his legs. Because the injury is literally on his foot, which carries all of the weight. So if your foot couldn't handle the weight that you already had, and then you bulked up like an additional 20 to 40 pounds, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's a curious case, but I just don't know what we can do to kind of, speed up the recovery process. Because the thing is, with that injury, there's not a lot of blood flow to that part of the foot. And that's why the recovery process is so tricky. And I know that there's a high likelihood of it reoccurring, but there's also other players that have had similar injuries. I think Brook Lopez is a player we're going to talk about a little bit later. He had issues with his foot as well. CJ McCollum, who's a smaller guard, has had issues with foot fractures. Ben Simmons, had foot fractures. Same thing with Joel Embiid. And, a lot of those players still had flourishing seasons or flourishing careers. So, to me, it wouldn't be something or a red flag where I say I'm going to move on from the guy. But it is something you have to keep in the back of your mind, because it could pop up later on in his career.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, it's a concern. So we just got to wait and see how the season goes. But I'm actually not too worried when it comes to our starting lineup. I mean, for the most part, when Noel was starting for us, he was playing decent basketball. So if he can, show us like even more of what he was doing last season, especially towards the end and in the playoffs, I'm not too concerned, because he was doing his thing, especially on the block.
Yeah, Noel can contribute. He can step into that role. This is kind of explains why they paid him the way they paid him, because he's like being paid fringe starter money. Robert Williams is only making a little bit more than Nerlens Noel is making, and I'm expecting Williams to start over there in Boston, or play a large portion of the minutes at center over there. You think so? You think he's going to start over Horford?
Yeah.
We'll see.
They love them somehow, Horford, and he's making stupid money. So.
Yeah, okay, true. But I think Robert Williams is definitely going to be in consideration to start over there. I think they like what he's able to contribute. So with Nerlens Noel making close to what Robert Williams is making, I think he's going to definitely be in the mix to be a starting caliber or provide starting caliber minutes at that center spot. But it's just I'm tired of having to deal with these injuries so often with Mitch. That's where it becomes a little bit frustrating. You know what I mean? From the hand to the foot. You know, like you said though, we've got Noel to back him up, and I think that kind of shows the depth that we have on this team. Because then after Noel, we got Gibson. You know, in a perfect world, Gibson is probably just playing the Theo Pinson role, being an elder statesman. You know, cheering on his guys. But if he has to be called upon to perform, he's definitely somebody that can step in as the backup center and give us some quality minutes.
No, you know, that's true. I mean, like I said, I'm not concerned when it comes to Noel, because what we did in the offseason, we've added exactly what we needed, which was shooting, which helps Noel's game, because then he doesn't really have to focus on scoring in any capacity. It's literally just, if you're wide open under the basket, yes, put it in. If not, grab the rebound, dish it out to somebody who can knock down a shot.
And if it's interesting you say that, because it's a nice segue. But before we get into that point a little bit further, I just want to say shout out to the chat. We've got a few people commenting. Easy P, he's saying I would trade him.
Thank you.
If he's on your side. Lex the Destroyer, he said he trained here in New York. Hopefully he trained under the Knicks coaching staff, because fellas can train in New York and not necessarily be training under the guidance of the staff. So hopefully they were keeping a keen eye on him and making sure he had a strict regimen to follow. That way he's not going to put himself in a situation where he's making it more risky to aggravate that foot injury. Michael Jones is saying, I think Kevin Durant had a Jones fracture. He definitely had a issue with his foot. I'm not 100% sure if it was a Jones fracture, but if it was, Kevin Durant is a player that is an example of a player that had the injury and didn't have it, pop up again later on in their career.
Yeah, but Durant never bulked up right after.
True. Edward Walker is saying Knicks is a well-balanced team. We have enough firepower until Mitch comes back healthy. Facts, Edward. We definitely have depth. We have depth in Noel. We have depth in Gibson, and we can also bring up Sims if we need to.
True. Yeah. I forgot about Sims.
Yeah, he's also a player that can come in and get some minutes if Mitch isn't available to start the season. Lex the Destroyer is saying Noel needs to learn how to catch, though. Yeah, yep. Definitely has issues catching the rock.
Nah, like I said, we don't need him to score. We don't need nothing. Nah, just get the rebound, dish it out. That's all we need him for. Now that we got shooters on our team, get the rebound, dish it out.
All right. So if we're talking about shooters, but if I said Nerlens Noel's about to turn into a shooter, would you believe me?
Come on, man. I still don't believe that, man.
I'm playing something for you right now. Let's see what Nerlens Noel had to say.
I'm getting a lot of threes. Try to expand my game to that corner three. I'm gonna definitely tread lightly coming in, seeing what it's like. But I've gotten the green light for the most part. So I just got to keep getting the reps up and make sure it falls in game time, and I'll be able to implement that.
That's something that they asked you to work on this offseason, knowing that they would want you to expand out this coming year.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it's something I've been working on. But like you said earlier, being on one-year deals, you never know how much you can really do. So getting this comfortability with this type of situation, even the day I signed the contract and I met with them, they told me, and make it a conscious effort to make it a game shot, not just after practice and etc. So, but all the times I've put in work into fixing my shot from Kentucky to through high school, shooting on the other side of myself. It's calibrated right, so I feel like I can knock it down, have the confidence, and also just the proof is in the pudding. Just gotta keep working on
it. So Nerlens Noel is gonna be shooting the corner three.
Honestly, I don't know how I feel about that. It reminds me of, remember when they tried to make Amari Stoudemire a 3-point shooter, trying to knock down the corner three, I don't know, man.
Amari can hit it though. Amari had the jump shot at least. He had the form for it.
He had the mid.
To be honest, if Nerlens Noel can knock it down at a reasonable clip, then I'm not going to say don't shoot it. The Knicks definitely have to shoot more threes. I think last season we averaged about 30 threes per game, which was toward the bottom of the pack in terms of the league average. So if we can shoot maybe 5 more threes per game, that'll bring us right towards the middle of the pack. And I'm not saying Nerlens Noel has to be the one to shoot those additional 5 threes, but if he can knock it down at a let's say 32, 33% clip, then I don't see what's wrong with him at least attempting the shot and making the defense have to respect it.
I mean, I agree, because obviously one of our issues last season was the fact that like we had poor spacing because of our lack of shooting. So if he can knock it down, then that would force whatever center that's guarding him to step out of the paint, which gives our quicker guards like D Rose and Kemba the opportunity to drive to the basket. So if he can knock it down, it works as far as spacing goes. But I don't want him just out there, running straight to 3 instead of cutting to the basket when it's wide open, like on fast breaks and stuff, where you see some centers started doing that. They'll just cut to the 3-point corner instead of going straight to the lane. So we'll see. It depends on how he knocks it down. We'll see.
Well, we definitely saw what having a center that was clogging up the paint could do to us in the Hawks game, because in the Hawks series, because for the most part they had a man always in the painted area to help rotate anytime Julius Randle would try to penetrate. And if you look at the Knicks stats from last season on shots less than 5 feet from the rim, the Knicks were within the lower proportion of the league. I think they were 5th in terms of shooting percentage on those shots. And if you look at what we did from 10 feet to 5 feet, I believe we were 6th in the league. So if we're able to bring that defender out of the paint, I think if you look at guys like Julius Randle, you look at guys like RJ, you mentioned Kemba, you mentioned Rose, you mentioned Fournier, we have all these options that can create for themselves and for others. So if we're able to get that defender out of the paint, I'm expecting those percentages to go up. And if you are able to get a few more points, I think if this team still stays, top 10 defensively, because we're definitely going to see a drop off with the addition of Fournier, Kimber, etc., and the loss of Reggie Bullock. So we will see the team, I think, step back defensively. But as long as we still stay a top 10, defense, and at least bring our offense, if we could, to a top 10 offense, then we might be able to get that 50 burger that JD has predicted the Knicks to get. So I think, as long as if he's able, like I said, if he's able to knock it down at a respectable clip and pull his defender out, then I think it's the perfect scenario for this team. It's all going to come down to, is he able to knock it down and make defenses respect it? Not only Nerlens Noel too, but this could be applied to Mitchell Robinson when he returns and to Taj Gibson. I think Gibson is honestly the one I have the most faith to knock down the 3. I think he's got the best mid-range out of the 3. So if any of them are able to incorporate that corner 3, then it really changes up, or it adds to what this team can do offensively.
No, I mean, like I said, like it would help with spacing completely. Like our offense would easily improve if he can knock it out consistently, but we're just talking about if he can. Because even during his interview, he was just like, he got the green light, sort of, like, meaning they're gonna wait and see with him. Like, listen, we'll give you the first couple games of preseason to attempt, but I feel like if he goes like 1-9 in the preseason, he ain't gonna be taking 3s in the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, I need to hear a little bit more confidence from him too when he's out there talking about potentially taking that shot. A little bit more, gusto. I'm shocked that they actually approved it, because if you let Mitch tell it, they're saying you can't take shots outside the paint, period.
Well, Nerlens said like he's been working on this since Kentucky, so.
Has he? Because if he's been working on it since Kentucky.
That's what he said. I don't know. That's what he said. Well, Mitch, we don't know what he's working on.
Well, we've seen footage of Mitch going out there and putting up 3s.
I ain't see that footage.
I got a couple highlight reels of him actually going out there and knocking down a bunch of 3s consecutively. So we'll see. With Gibson, if Gibson's able to come in and knock down the 3, I think that's cool too. But I don't want them to get too crazy looking to shoot the 3. As long as if the defense is giving it to them, because honestly, that's what the defense wants. The defense is going to want Nerlens Noel, Mitchell Robinson, and Taj Gibson to shoot a 3. It's going to be on them to make the defense pay for it. And if they're not going to be able to knock it down, at least near league, I won't say league average, but let's say Brook Lopez shot it around 33%. So if they're able to shoot it similar to what he was able to do for the Bucks, then I think this offense is going to be that much dangerous. And remember, it's not only moving, Nerlens Noel, Mitchell Robinson, or Taj Gibson's defender out the paint. It's the fact that we now have a bunch of legitimate shooters. So now there's going to be a lot of one-on-one. Yes, I don't want this team to get ISO heavy, but there's going to be times in the game where you're going to be at the end of the shot clock, play breaks down, and they're going to need somebody to get them a bucket. And let's make life a lot easier for our players by getting Nerlens Noel or getting the center out of the paint and let them attack one-on-one in order to get us a good shot, because there's not too many defenders out there that are physical enough to D up Julius Randle or RJ. Like you said, not too many quick enough to get with Rose or Kimber. And if we can have Fournier get some easy driving lanes to get into the paint, I think this team is going to be extremely dangerous. And I think if we are able to click offensively, then with Thibs' defensive system, this could be a team where we're once again, top 4 seed.
No, yeah, I feel like we finally got a team. Like, this team is going to be even more fun to watch than last season. Like, we have some, like, if barring everybody being healthy, we have like a really exciting team to watch.
Yeah, very. I believe it's going to be pretty exciting as long as everyone stays healthy and everyone stays committed to the goal, which I think should not be an issue with a coach like Tom Thibodeau. We should be fine.
Plus, the core that we have are still the same. Remember how they were last season, where all of them was always in the gym because they took it that serious. So hopefully these new players get into the groove immediately. Like, listen, this is the way this team works.
Thanks. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Big Task pulled up. Hey, George from Into the Knicks Verse is in the chat. Salute, George. Thank you for pulling up and supporting the live stream. Darren Jones is saying he'll pass on Nerlens Noel shooting the 3. I think he falls in your camp. If you pass on it as well.
I'll make that decision after the preseason. Like, let me see how it looks in preseason. But like I said, if he's like 1 for 9 or something like that, I'm passing. Like, nah, don't do this in the regular season. Don't even attempt. Don't get wide open out there, and it's 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Pass that joint.
So Edward Walker is saying if Noel is shooting 3s, who is rebounding? You still have Julius Randle, who's a triple-double machine. He can assist in the rebounding department. RJ Barrett is also a pretty good rebounder for a shooting guard. And, Nerlens Noel isn't the greatest offensive rebounder. So it's not like he's Mitch, because Mitch is a phenomenal offensive rebounder. Nerlens Noel, like you said, he can't catch. So if he can at least catch and shoot, that'll be a little bit better use of him if he's still going to be fumbling rebounds and things like that in the paint. So there are alternative options to rebound out there. Rebounding is something that the team should be focused on. It should not come down to just the center's responsibility. Let's see what Big Task is in the building. Salute to you, one of the mods. He's talking to another mod. He's saying big facts. Noel needs to catch the ball. Noel needs to stop hanging out with Darius Slayton and Evan Ingram. Football joke. Those are 2 players on the Giants that have lost us games by dropping footballs. Ridiculous over there. Alexis saying, I've seen Taj knock down a 3 in game. I've seen Mitch shoot it in practice. I don't think I've ever seen Noel shoot a 3. Yeah, and his mid-range jump shot doesn't look that encouraging. So I hope this focuses more so on Mitch, because I think Mitch can actually knock down the 3 effectively from what I've seen in the highlight footage. I'm still on the fence with Noel. I'm cool with him shooting the 3. Like I said, if he can knock it down like a Brook Lopez. If he can't knock it down, then it's going to be, detrimental to the team. Like I said, that's going to be what opposing teams are going to want us to do. They're going to want Nerlens Noel shooting a 3 when you've got RJ Barrett, Kemba Walker, Julius Randle, and Evan Fournier out there. That's the guy they want taking that shot. So if he's able to make them pay, then I'm cool with it. But if not, yeah, we'll pass on that one. Let's see. Let's see what else we got on. Oh, Inf, somebody give me a shout out. Knicks 100. Good old Inf back in effect.
Probably something negative I said about Mitch.
Yeah, you're the resident Mitch hater on the channel. Nick Life is in agreement with you, Inf. He's saying excited about this team. I think they're ready to take the next step. Well, they better be ready to take the next step because we went out there and we spent some money and we brought in some young players that can actually contribute right away. So I'm expecting us to be a better team. I don't know if our record gets better percentage-wise because we're going to be playing different amount of games. But because, the whole Eastern Conference has gotten better. The whole league has gotten better. You look at the West, the Lakers went out there and they got Brick Brook. I don't know who, the Clippers, they really didn't do much. They're going to be in trouble without Kawhi.
Yeah, they got somebody though. Who do they get?
They didn't really do much. I think they're just gonna roll through the year and say F it.
I could have sworn they got somebody for Paul George who they were like talking big about.
Man, who knows what they're doing over there? They're worried about opening up their new arena.
Yeah, they trash anyway. They ain't doing nothing this season, no matter who they get.
Yeah. 100 Knicks 100 a game is saying I see blowouts in a bunch of them. Hopefully that's us blowing out the other team.
Word.
Nick Life is saying Noel is too stiff. I believe it when I see it. Yeah, his form isn't really encouraging. But if the Knicks coaching staff is giving him the green light, I'm going to assume they would know more than me. So let's see if he can actually knock it down and be beneficial for the team out there when it comes to shooting down and knocking down a three. All right. So let's talk about another, I would say, polarizing player. Some people think he'll be a star. Others think he'll just be a regular rotational piece, and that's going to be RJ. So now with the loss of Reggie Bullock, we're going to need RJ Barrett to step up defensively. And it sounds like he's ready to take on that challenge. So I'm going to play a clip from his interview, and if we can talk about it then after.
RJ, last year, we all talked a lot about Reggie Bullock defensively. He was picking up his opponents, top scorer a lot of nights, and how good of a job he did. You guys as a team were obviously great defensively. With him now in Dallas, do you know anything about if that could impact your role? If you would take on that score, the top scorer at all, or is it yet to be determined?
I mean, being a two-way player is something that I've always, strive for. Something I want to do. It's how I want to be known. So, coach puts me in that position to be that guy that's guarding the guy every night. I'm all for it. I'm all for the challenge, and I won't back down.
You heard that, Inf? He said he won't back down. So do you expect RJ to blossom into a two-way star out there?
Of course. I mean, I expected that to happen regardless of anything, just because he's playing under Thibs and he's getting a bulk of the minutes, and Thibs clearly trusts him and wants him to develop. So I felt like that was going to come regardless, but the fact that now it's actually going to be a genuine focus for him, I'm sure he could do it. Like, he's strong enough to stay with twos, with threes. So
yeah, it's going to be important because if you look at the players that are coming in, Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, they're going to have the two worst defensive ratings on our team, at least based off what they did last season. So the defense is going to have to come from somewhere out there on the perimeter, and it's going to be on RJ to step up. And I think RJ has the physical tools, and if he's able to step up, I think he could potentially get some defensive player of the year votes. We saw Julius Randle get some defensive player of the year votes because he was able to lead this team. I won't say he was the best defensive player out there, but he was able to do his own, do what he had to do. He was a strong leader out there, and he was able to rotate and fill his responsibilities or his assignments when he had to. If RJ's going out there defending the best perimeter player, and he's also doing what we expect him to do on the offensive side, I expect him to see some all-star votes as well. I expect him to take a next step this season. What I'm concerned about is, I don't want him to to have to put too much energy into the defensive side to the point where it takes away from him developing and starting to grow on the offensive end of the court.
I mean, well, he's still young. He got the energy. It's just something that he needs to learn. He needs to learn how to manage and pace himself throughout the game. But I agree with Likes to Destroy It. I feel like he could potentially be the next most improved player if he can actually incorporate genuine defense to his game.
Yeah, like I said, we replaced Elfrid Payton and Reggie Bullock with Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. We're gonna get a nice bump offensively, But with the steps we're going to take back defensively, it's going to be imperative that RJ Barrett steps up. This team, I don't think, is going to be. We're not going to increase or better our position last season unless RJ takes that step, because right now we have nobody in that starting lineup to really go out there and play man against the opposing team's best perimeter player. And we really don't have too many players on the bench to fill that role either. I know some people think Miles McBride can be used to come in and defend an opposing team's perimeter star, but we haven't seen that on the NBA level yet. Same thing with Grimes. People think he can come in and lock people up, but once again, we haven't seen that on the NBA level. We saw it in preseason against lower comp, but we can't head into the season and expect those two to be thrust into the position or thrust into the moment and step up. So I'm fully expecting RJ to do what he has to do in order to get better defensively, because RJ last season wasn't a phenomenal defender, so he's going to have to get better. We're not asking RJ to come in and do exactly what he did last season. We're asking RJ to come in and do something he hasn't done in the NBA in his first 2 seasons, and that's be the primary all-ball defender of the opposing team's best player night in and night out. And I'm really interested in seeing if RJ will be able to step up to the challenge. I fully expect him to do so, because this team is going to be heavily dependent on his performance defensively.
Honestly, I'm sure the Knicks were very aware of this when they decided not to re-sign Bullock. I'm sure.
Thibs was upset that we didn't go out there and bring back Bullock, and I would not be surprised if this was the reason why.
I mean, listen, RJ had more than enough time to be aware of the fact that without Bullock, he needs to step up. So I'm sure he's been working on his game defensively to compensate for that. Tibbs is gonna make it happen, man.
Hey, and if it doesn't, Thibs is gonna look down the bench and try to put somebody else in to see if they can give that that level of production. But like you said, I don't think I'm too worried about it. I'm just worried about if they're gonna take too much from him throughout the season. So what I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna be looking at 3 things. As the game goes on, I'm gonna see if his volume of shots is going down quarter to quarter. So that might show some signs of fatigue. I'm also going to see if the location of his shots changes. Are his shots getting further and further away? Is he still able to get into the paint, or is now he's not able to get by his defender, and now he's settling for mid-range and deep 2s, 3s? Another thing I'm going to be looking at, how efficient he is throughout the game. Are we going to be seeing big drops in his shooting percentages as the quarter goes on? Because then that would show me fatigue, along with the eye test. That would at least show me that he's kind of slowing down, and maybe we might have to look to bring in somebody to kind of give him some help out there defensively, especially with Mitch not being available game 1. He might not be there game 1, and I think Mitch is a better defender than Noel. I think Noel gets had more blocked shots, but I think what Mitch is able to provide out there defensively is something Noel can't match. So if we're not going to have Mitch, it's really going to be up to RJ Barrett to kind of step his game up, which I'm hoping he does, and I fully expect him to do, because I expect us to have a pretty decent season. I'm predicting right around 48 wins.
I mean, I'm not relying on Mitch to come back only because we just don't know how it's going to be as far as that injury. On his foot, is he going to be more hesitant to jump to block shots? Is he going to be able to stand his ground now that he has all this upper body strength but not really any lower body strength? Because I'm sure, not being active at all, not only did he not gain strength on his legs, he's probably lost strength that he had. So I'm not going to be waiting on that. But as far as RJ, again, I'm not concerned, just because at the end of the day, this is still a Thibodeau team, and we play team defense. Everyone puts the work in. I'm sure if RJ is slacking, or if he's just not up to par yet, Julius is probably going to step in, give that help defense. Sid knows what he's doing when he's coaching this team on defense. So it's more about Kemba and Fournier stepping up and learning the Thibodeau style. Maybe they just don't know how to play defense because they didn't come from a defensive coach. Brad Stevens, he's a good coach, I guess. But
shade.
I guess. I felt like he could have lost his job and instead he got a promotion. But
yeah, that's crazy, right?
That is how you underperform for 4 years straight, because I feel like there was at least 2 or 3 years where they had the best team in the East, talent wise. Like, and they didn't even get to the finals once, and then he gets a promotion. Crazy. But yeah. So they're not coming from coaches who focus solely on defense the way that Thibodeau does. So it's more about Kemba and Fournier learning this style of play and putting the energy in on defense so that RJ doesn't have to overexert himself. He's not Kawhi, not yet. Hopefully he can get there, though.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, even if if defensively he's like a Jimmy Butler, that'd be nice to have out there on the team. He might not be because he doesn't necessarily. He's not as big as Kawhi or physical as Kawhi. He's a little bit similar in frame to a Jimmy Butler. So if he's able to go out there and have that level of intensity defensively, then I think, for the third pick, I would say we'd get a steal, because if RJ's able to go out there and get some, defensive player of the year votes, then that would prove he's a better defender than a Ja Morant. And we all expect RJ to take a step. If RJ were to take a step, become a 20-point per game scorer, and be a wing that can get defensive player of the year votes, like, what more could you want from a number 3 pick? And he's able to still knock down the 3 at what was it, around 38-40%. I think that would be phenomenal.
No, yeah, I mean, especially towards the end of the season, he was getting more consistent with his 3. So if we see some of that coming in, people don't have to respect that shot, man. The fact that he's continuously adding to his game is showing why he is our 3rd pick. Like, this is why we chose him. Because before, I remember, like, everybody, including myself, was upset like that we got the 3rd. I wanted either Zion or Ja, but seeing that the way their games are developing, I'm still leaning more towards RJ than Ja. I mean,
I like the fact that at least offensively, we say Randall needed help, but RJ is going to benefit from the additional offensive, firepower that we brought in as well. He's gonna, like I said, be able to attack one-on-ones, get into the paint. He's working on, step back jump shots, creating off the dribble, and who knows, if he adds, the playmaking ability to create for others, then we might have. I would say at that point he'd be the best selection from that draft class. If he's able to do all those things, then I would say the Knicks are finally going to break that curse of not being able to extend a player finishing a rookie contract.
That's true.
Yeah, right. It's been forever. Yeah, we added Frank Nitty to the list now because we jettisoned him over to the Mavericks. Kevin Knox is going to be added to the list too because he's going to be jettisoned to wherever he's about to go next season.
Shanghai Sharks. The Washington Wizards. What's the man?
Oh man! Salute to Canal. He's saying hit that smash button, hit that like button. Go ahead.
No, because even with like the whole media day and all that, you ain't seen nothing about Kevin Knox. Ain't nobody interviewing him. Ain't nobody trying to find out what he did in the off season. They ain't even bother putting him in the summer league. Because remember before.
Oh no, he was in the summer league, but he caught the Rona. Yeah, he caught the Rona, and they had to. Yeah. Quick got lucky too because Quick caught the Rona with Team USA, but luckily he got over it in time to play summer league.
Yo, my boy Quick, man. I can't wait to see how he continues to just grow and having him learn from Kemba, learning some of them step backs and
yeah, right. That creation off the dribble, facts. Yeah. I wasn't even think about that. You're right.
Kemba's a shooter. Kemba can shoot. So Quick learning from him, that's gonna be dope.
Shout out to my guy Odierno. He's saying I can see RJ improving stupidly. He's gonna become a better defender each day as well. I hope so. I really hope so, because we're definitely going to need somebody to step up and guard those wings out there. And outside of RJ Barrett, I really don't see Fournier doing it. I think Fournier can be a serviceable option out there on defense, but statistically, his defense isn't phenomenal. Drip Moore is saying salute Sports Vibes TV. Salute. Knicks 100 is saying we have to be solid on defense just to win any game last year. We're more equipped to go toe-to-toe this year. That's a Snapple fact. Now let's say, and that's why Thibs is the coach and not the GM. I guess this is the point where I think it was talking about Reggie Bullock. Yeah. Let's see. Sacrifices have to be made to get better. Yep. Drip Moore is saying now RJ is built for this. Ordiano believes that RJ is going to be a future two-way star. I really hope he's a two-way star because that would be great. I can't think of the last two-way star we've had. I mean, if Mitch could develop an offensive game, then we'd have a two-way star right there as well. What?
Why are you so convinced we're gonna have Mitch after the season? We're not gonna have this man.
Look, I like what I like what Mitch can contribute to this team defensively, and with what I'm hearing about the coaching staff wanting the centers to step out there and knock down the corner three, that just is like so much potential there. You know, if Mitch can knock down the three, 32, 33%. They had Obi out there shooting the corner three. He was shooting like 30-some-odd% or whatever the case would be from the three-point line last season. So if Mitch can shoot 32, 31%, I'll live with it as long as he's not going out there shooting 5 threes a game. He wants to shoot 1 3 a game, 2 threes a game. As long as you're open, as long as you got a good look, go ahead and continue to give me what you've been giving me when you're out there on defense. Because remember, before Mitch got hurt, I think Bagley said it in the video that Mitch was playing well right when he got hurt. He had a double-double in the first half. How many players on this team are able to get double-doubles in the first half? You were seeing Julius Randle, and I don't think not much else. So to see Mitch go down when he could have potentially, he was on pace for like a 2020 game. So you see that type of potential and you see what he can do defensively, and then you add a 3-point shot. That's like a creative player. I could take him and go put him in 2K and have some fun right now. Swag. Right?
No, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I don't know. I don't think. I think we're gonna give up on that draft class. Him and Knox is out of here after this season.
Well, we'll see. I think I got more faith in Mitch than Knox. I don't know what they're gonna do with Knox, but we'll see. And I don't think they're gonna go out there and give Burks $12 million or $11 million, whatever the salary was, to let him be beat in the rotation by Kevin Knox.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they went out and gave Evan Fournier big money to play the three. They gave Burks big money to back up the three. I think it's safe to say it's over for Knox. Unless he's going to be able to take minutes from Obi at the 4.
I don't think so, especially after the way Obi was playing in Summer League.
Exactly.
If he can even a fraction of that to the NBA, come on, man. Like to actual NBA players, like, come on, man.
Thanks up. Salute to Big Task. He's saying hit that like button, hit that like button, hit that like button. I really haven't even looked. We're at 41 likes and you got 97 in chat. Come on, y'all. Smash that like, support the channel. Let us know that you're appreciating the stream, and that way we can bring you some more content similar to this. All right. Kamal is saying Spree was the last two-way we had. That's a while back. That's Spree. That's like early 2000s. That's crazy. RJ would have averaged 20 if EP wasn't our starting point guard. He's averaging 22 plus. You think he would have averaged? You think? I think he would. He averaged what? I think 17, right around 18 for the season.
Yeah.
So you think without Elf
or something like that?
Without Elf, he probably would have dropped 20.
Maybe because Elf Payne only had tunnel vision for Randall.
Randall, true.
The shot, or he passes to Randall.
True. I'm just trying to think of plays in my head where I'm like, oh, Elf missed them. I mean, there's a few. I'm not gonna front, but I think he got missed more in his rookie year than his sophomore season. They looked for him a little bit more last season. Let's see.
That's crazy. It's only been 1 year, but that difference between his rookie and his sophomore was insane.
Yeah. What you call it? Knicks 100 saying if RJ would have averaged 20 if he hits his free throws. True.
Yeah. That's a lot of people. I feel like Giannis would average 50 if he could hit free throws. Like, come on.
Gregory Lee is saying, let's go Knicks Nation. Shout out to Keith and welcome back Infinite.
Yo. Salute. What would you think if the Knicks picked up Jello to add shooting?
No.
Nah? Even after what he was doing, he was shooting.
I think we got shooting. We need players that we can go out there and say, hey, lock that person up right there. I think we need that more than we need offensive firepower right now. That's currently
That's unique to say, because if it was last season, we'd be saying the opposite.
This is the exact opposite. We don't have shooters out here. We don't have scorers. We don't have playmakers.
What do we have?
We had players we had role players that had to be given a specific role.
Yeah,
like now we have role players, but we have role players that can do multiple things. You know, Evan Fournier can shoot, he can create. I don't want to call Kimba's really a star, but because of his knee, sometimes he's reduced to a role player. But he's another player that can score, that can play, make, create for others. So, you know, Alec Burks another one. He can score and create for others when he decides to pass the ball. Last season we had Bullock, who was strictly defense and knocked down the three. And then, you know, he couldn't do anything outside of that. And then we had Alfred Payton, who really couldn't do much.
Nothing.
So now we have a lot more, we have better options out there on the court now.
You know, it's crazy. We made the exact moves that me and you was talking about last season, how we need to move Butler because he's not a starter for us, and we need to get rid of Payton and add shooting. And that's exactly what they did. They got rid of them too. They added shooting. So now let's see if what we said last season comes to fruition.
Gregory Lee is saying, I mean, it's a cool idea, but for that to work, the other team's defense has to collapse while one of the guards is slashing, and while in traffic, they kick out to catch Noel in the corner. Well, that's a lot of what we were doing. Except that it wasn't a guard a lot of the times. It was Julius Randle that would penetrate, collapse the defense, and then kick it out for the shooters. And Thibs says it a lot in his press conferences and in his interviews. It's that second pass. So Julius sometimes would penetrate and find somebody open like Reggie Bullock. They had a good chemistry out there in the court, or sometimes he'd penetrate, give it to someone, and then they would find RJ Barrett for a corner three or something like that. So yeah, Gregory, what you're saying is correct, but that's pretty much a lot of what the Knicks have done offensively. Basically.
I mean, and the only thing we need is, like I said, spacing, and so that's all that would do.
Yep. Let's see, no Jello. I'd rather Knox all day. Facts. We talking about shooting. Knox can shoot. Knox can knock down the three. If it's one thing I can trust somewhat for Knox to do is to put him out there, stand, catch, and shoot the three. That's one thing I think I can trust him to do. There was a comment above that said something about. Let me see if I can find it. Something about Knox. Knicks Nation. Yeah, you guys wanted Knox. You guys would wanted Knox to shine, and the team would have to give him a max contract like MPJ. Knox is allowed to come along slow, maybe a team-friendly contract while he improves. But yeah, we're going on 4 years. There's been literally no improvement. Yeah, we've seen. I would say we've seen regression. Most of Kevin Knox's best moments are from his first time in summer league and from his rookie season. That's been crickets since. Like literally been crickets since. No improvement to the point where the staff don't even trust him to be on the court. What you call it? Lex Destroyers, echoing what I said a little bit. I don't know if he said it first or if I said it first. 1043. Yeah, he probably said it first. He said we have multi-positional role players. Facts. We have depth. Facts. Let's see. Somebody said, yes, Agent Super Argo. He said, correction to that comment earlier. RJ will have 20 points a game if he finishes at the rim better this season. He improved on his free throws already. And that's true. I think I was on with Foxy and we were talking about RJ and him having to get better at finishing at the rim. Also, I'm going to be on with Foxy tomorrow as well. We're going to talk about some areas of improvement for the Knicks if we're going to get better seeding this season. And also just to talk about, I think the team as a whole needs to finish better, shooting inside the paint. Like I said, we were the second worst team in field goal percentage on shots of 5 feet or less. And this is in the playoffs when you're looking at the cream of the crop. So, I want to judge the Knicks against, the best teams out there, because that's who we're going to be competing against in the playoffs. And on shots 5 feet or less, we were second worst, and we were second worst as well on shots 10 to 5 feet. So if we're able to get better in those positions, we're definitely going to see this team jump in terms of how good we are offensively. Listen, man, next day we are here. Like we did exactly what we needed to do. We added what we needed to add. We out here, man. Knicks and 6 is funny. He says hit 55 likes and I will shut up.
Let's see.
Who is Nick saying we have to trade? He said Gregory got to trade him for cap reasons. Oh, Knox?
Yeah, I think it was talking about either Knox or Mitch. They said something about like a sign-in trade with Mitch.
I just like Mitch. His physical, like there's physical talents that Mitch is
You
able
just
to
like him 'cause
display.
you met him. That's the only reason why you're talking nice.
Look, Mitch is a cool dude from the 2 minutes I was able to speak to him, but I'm trying to be unbiased. If I felt like we needed to move on from Mitch, I would say we need to move on from Mitch. But before we move on from Mitch, I would like to see what we have from him returning from injury. And then I can say, all right, he's not what I expected, and I'd be willing to get this, that, and the third for him. But right now, from what like I said, the last time we saw Mitch, he had a double-double in the first half. So that's what I have to base my judgment off. And then you add the fact about the corner threes that he could potentially decide to shoot. Like,
who has
what I'm supposed to say? I'm supposed to say no.
Corner three, like it was only Nerlens Noel. That was it.
But but they all playing in the same system. So if he's gonna have one center shoot the three, and I've seen video of Mitchell Robinson shoot the three effectively, it only makes sense to me that he would allow Mitch to shoot the three as well.
I don't know. We ain't see what Nerlens was doing in practice over the summer. Like maybe they saw something that gave him that allowance.
That's true. But Mitch is talking crazy on social media saying, hey, let me shoot. So he's going to have to put money where his mouth is and go out there and earn his money by knocking down the corner three. He'll be a rich man if he can go out there and knock out the corner three. We might not be able to resign him if he cannot go out there and knock down the corner three, as a legitimate shot, because we can only, like Bagley said, we can only give him 454. But if he hits the open market next season and he's knocking down the three, and he's doing everything we expect him to do for us, he's going to get a nice contract out there. What did Jared Allen get signed for? He got signed for some
5 years, 100 mil.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's
compared to 454.
So that don't count.
Huh?
That's from the Cavs, though, so that don't really count.
Yeah, but there's going to be teams out there that are desperate, and they'll throw money out there for Mitch. Yeah, somebody always gets a crazy contract every offseason.
All right, so then what would you want? Like, because either he's going to come back, he's going to hit the three, and we can't re-sign him, or he's going to come back and be trash, and what do? Just let him go? I'd
rather him be right there in the middle. Be right there in the middle. Sign him to a similar deal with Robert Williams. Go out there, knock down the three as a D. Because remember, I don't think he's going to be a focal point. So if he comes back and he's healthy and he's knocking it down occasionally, it's not like he's going to go out there and be Dirk or be KP. We're not going to go out there and run 5 and out the whole game. So he might do it in spurts. And if we're able to, he's going to say, hey, I like being in New York. I'm familiar with this environment. We saw Julius Randle do it, take a little bit less. I know Mitch will be less inclined to take less than the max that he can get, seeing that he got 6 agents that he's probably dealing with, and the fact that he's only been making right around $1 million a season since he got in, a lot less than what Julius has been making during his career. But if we can work with him, get him a nice deal, somewhat similar to that Robert Williams, where he's still going to be able to take care of his family and his people, that's what I would like to see. I don't, if he goes out there and he plays to the point where he is going to be deserving of a bag, I don't know if I would want the Knicks to go out there and get crazy. Because like I said, we still have to deal with the foot injury. And if he's injured at 10 million, that's a lot different than being injured at 20 million. So I'll be a little bit hesitant there. Huh?
I don't see him taking less or taking a reasonable deal from the Knicks. With all the crying he's been doing on social media regardless, like, I'm serious. Like, I feel like every year there's a tweet about him criticizing the Knicks as an organization because they don't let him do this or they don't let him do that, or he wants this, he wants that. He's not, unless we throw in stupid money at him, he's looking elsewhere. I don't think he likes being on the Knicks. I don't think he likes being with us.
Well, see, but that's the thing. Also, because I follow him on Instagram and he's out there supporting his teammates. So I don't know if he might beef with the front office, but he's there $100,000 for his team. He's even there for players that have left. He's out there supporting Alfred Payton, saying salute to you for getting signed to the Suns. He's bigging up Obi for having his baby. he's out there supporting the team, so he's definitely being a team player, at least in the public, view. But
all that matters is the front office relationships, really.
True. That's why I really wanted them to sign him now while he was injured. Give him a little bit of money, give him a reasonable contract, $10, $9, $10, $11 million a year, like what Robert Williams got, who's also injury prone. And then if he comes out and he's able to do all that I'm asking, now he's underpaid, and that'd be cool with me as a Knicks fan. I'd be like, all right, we can live with that. He's outperforming his contract.
I mean,
I ain't gonna lie.
I feel like there's a reason that they haven't done that. Like, there's things they've seen that we don't know about as far as his injury goes, that they're just like, it's probably not even worth that.
Well, Knicks and 6 is saying that I'm even keel. I wonder what you got to see me at a Knicks game and you won't be saying that. I'll be out there wilding. Let me see. Mitch scared to mess up his field goal percentage. He ain't shooting nothing from the. I don't know. On social media, he's always acting like he wants to shoot the three. So I think, like we just said, him adding that to his game would make him a very rich man. So to me, it wouldn't make sense for him to not want to shoot the three. But then it also doesn't make sense for the Knicks to be okay with Nerlens Noel shooting 15-foot, little jump shots when he's open, or stepping out to the corner three, and then say, "Oh, we don't want Mitch to do it." Like everything with Mitch and the Knicks, sometimes it really doesn't make sense. It's like, what is going on there?
Listen, man, they don't like Mitch. We don't like him.
You don't like Mitch.
I mean, as a person, he seems like he's a fine person, a stand-up young man. But as a basketball player, nah.
Oh man,
he gotta go.
They're saying Mitch isn't even healthy at the moment. I don't know if he's not healthy. I think they're just taking it slow with him.
Nah, he ain't healthy. You like you just said, they were talking about him potentially returning for the second round if we would have made it past the Hawks. Mm-hmm. And then he had a full summer. He had months off, and now he's not ready for training camp. He re-entered. He re-aggravated. He did something that he wasn't supposed to. They're just not announcing it yet because that diminishes his trade value. So they're trying to make it seem like they're taking it slow with him, when in reality, nah.
And if I gotta get some conspiracy music to play whenever you go into your little moments. If it's true though, you heard it here first on Sports Vibes TV.
Exactly. Here first, verified. This just in.
And Knicks 100 is with you. He's saying I'm with you, because it really makes no sense. They said they gave him like plays, or they gave him some kind of scouting info just in case he would have been available. Because I'm on Twitter. Make sure you follow the channel on Twitter. It's right down there at Sports Vibes TV. I'm searching, and they're saying they gave him some information about the Hawks for him to study up and get more acclimated to what they were doing. So okay, that means there's some potential for him to play. And then he went to Vegas to train, to work out with Kenny Payne. They posted photos of them playing, or photos of him on the court with the ball. He was in a shot motion. So we're going from there right around August to this point now in October, where you're saying he can't even run. He can't do full sprints.
Re-aggravated.
It doesn't compute. It really doesn't compute. And then they try to gloss over it. And then Mitch is saying you got to ask the coach. Well, Mitch, we would like you to clarify it, because when all you say is you got to ask the coach, then it sounds like you guys aren't on the same page. At least when you say it like that, right. I would, say it like, hey, I had talks with the coaching staff, and if you want to know a little bit more, you feel free to refer it to the training staff or to the head coach Thibs. But until you do that, I'm just going to continue to work my butt to get on the court. I want you to say, yo, you got to ask coach about that. Because to me, it sounds like, oh man, so you're not in agreement with this. I won't say benching, but you're not in agreement with them kind of easing you into the flow of things.
Listen, man, like Kanal said, he's just childish. That's all. He's childish, man.
What'd you call it? Anudi is saying I'm sending in for Mitch jersey.
I'll buy a new pair of Thibs just to stomp that jersey out.
You know what's funny? The Garden is sending me a Julius Randle jersey.
See, that's dope. That's Julius. Let's go.
Yeah, but I'm not the biggest. I'm cool with Julius, but I'd rather have me like a Quickly jersey, a Barrett jersey, a Mitch jersey. Oh, we can swap. Nudie get you the Mitch jersey. I give you the Randall jersey, and then we lit. Pull up to the game.
Where like here?
October 20th against the Celtics. And we better leave with a dub. I'm taking off work. We gotta win.
Yeah, I'm about to request that day off and I ain't working this day.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm doing. I'm not working a day job or the night job. I'm going to the game.
On the 27th?
The 20th.
The 20th.
Celtics.
Yeah, it's in my calendar. Yeah, we lit.
Yeah, we out. What you call it? Thibs has said he's doing well in practice today. Yeah, but that's relative. Well, to what point in time? Because if he's doing better from today, if he's doing better today than he did yesterday, then I would say he's doing well too. I need to know he's doing well from what? From the time he had his surgery, or from the time the quote unquote relapse that Inf is saying happened.
Listen, man.
Let's see. Ooh, somebody is saying Mitch is shady. I don't think he's shady. I mean, he does have some weird, dealings with his agents, going through 5-6 agents, but he seems like a nice enough guy. I don't know if I would call him shady.
No, you have to read the full comment. He said he's shady, immature character. Like, he's immature. Like,
yeah, but
as far
shady.
As saying, that's why, like,
you can say he's immature, but I don't know if I would go and say shady. Shady has real negative connotations.
You got to ask the coach about that. That's being shady. That's like he could have explained it the way you explained it, but instead he decided to be shady, and now we're thinking like, oh, well, what's actually going on? Like, is there a relationship?
All right, if you swayed me, you swayed me. All right, I'm on you and J Lobs this style. All right, you swayed me. Let's see. They all have this fairy tale dream about Mitch and his superpowers.
It's crazy. Like, get this man out of here. He's gonna be looking worse than Tyson Chandler. You've seen that picture. Tyson Chandler all big and brolic up top, but legs looking like this.
Like toothpicks.
Yeah, like, come on, man.
Thibs said Mitch has been shooting from a chair on the floor. That's crazy. He can't even shoot standing up.
Yo.
Been around fine. Last time when I saw him, he was walking around the airport. He was carrying his luggage. What's going on here?
I'm telling you,
you're not really going. You don't have it on your book back, on your back or anything. But that's crazy. He's shooting from a chair. Like the more you kind of dig deeper into this, it just makes less and less sense.
He stepped on a Lego and fractured his foot.
That's crazy. Especially when you see Zion had a surgery on his foot too. Yeah, but his seems like an avulsion fracture, because the way he seemed like his timetable is to they got pretty good timetable to return before Mitch, which is crazy because Zion's packing more weight.
Way more, both.
What you call it? Nick Life is saying we got to get Mitch right for that deadline trade. We won't sleep on it this year.
I hope so, man. I hope so.
What you call JD Sports Talk is saying, is that confirmed? We don't know. I'm just going off what they said in the chat. If it's true though, that is crazy. What you call it? Heck Breezo. He just made that up. When did Thibs say that? Oh, they set us up, Inf. They hit me with that. What's that? Oh, got to be quicker than that. Remember with the dollar bill on the oh, thank you, JD, for pulling up, making sure. We got to confirm that information. Shout out to you. Let's see. Oh, JD, Inf got a little beef with you. What was the issue, Inf?
I don't know.
About Mitch?
Yeah, Mitch is trash. Where's JD?
I don't think JD's a Mitch defender, though. I think I'm more so the Mitch defender than JD. JD kind of fall in the middle.
Nah, when he watches our live, he's a Mitch fan. And now they need to send him that jersey.
I think Knicks are going to trade Mitch. Don't want him doing anything before the trade. That would make sense as well. If they already have a deal in the works and they want to make sure he's healthy, they got the bubble wrap on him, waiting to ship him out. Because when I saw that deal that Nerlens Noel signed, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, that's not backup center money. That's a little bit more than that. So we'll see.
Yeah,
be civilized, saying salute. If JD said, I'm trying to figure out when Thibs said that. Inf was happy as hell to hear that.
Listen, man, I'll be happy when I get the notification Mitchell Robinson is traded. Tell you. He's the new Eford Payton.
Salute to Soulfinger. He's saying salute to us. Thank you for pulling up and supporting the channel. Got 114 in chat, 58 likes. Thank you guys for supporting the stream. I know I put it up short notice. I apologize for that. Knicks 100 is saying Jericho showed you just that Mitch is easily replaceable. I got to see how the chat feels.
No, yo, look at Edward Walker's comments.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to put a poll in the chat. Should the Knicks...
Oh, my goodness.
Trade Mitch? I just want to see where everybody's stance is. Because me, you know where I am. I think we should keep Mitch, try to continue to develop him, add him to the game. And then you've got Inf on the other side, who believes we should move on from him, cut ties immediately.
Yo, highlight Edward Walker's comment, man. Everybody needs to see that.
Mitchell is really Professor. Like Rizzo was saying, Mitch dominated Summer League year 1. Sims didn't. Stop comparing the two. Black King is saying keep Mitch.
Come on, we really care about Summer League though. Like Knox was a beast in Summer League. Remember that? Come on, man. Summer League don't matter. Trey Young was trash in Summer League. What is Summer League? Come on, don't.
I mean, I think Summer League. It's nice to see what some of these guys can do. At least because everybody doesn't really watch college basketball. So for a lot of fans, Summer League is the first time you're able to really look at these draft picks and see what are some of the things they're able to do out there on the court. So I think Summer League is nice for that. I think Summer League is nice to go out there and attend and kind of get some affordable basketball action. You get to see a bunch of games from morning to night. So I think Summer League is dope. We got to go next season.
Not yet, but I don't look at Summer League and then think like, oh, well, this person did this in Summer League, so nah. Like it's just like, all right, they were good in Summer League, but that don't mean nothing when it comes to the actual NBA. In Summer League, you're lost. You don't know what's going on. You haven't practiced with this team at all. Like, whereas in the NBA, I mean, come on, man, it's different.
It's a little bit more structure, seeing that you spend more time. There's more camaraderie with your teammates. I hear you.
Hold up, you know what? Let me answer.
You about to vote yourself?
Make sure my vote count.
Nah, if so, everybody was saying no, and he's like, nah, we got to stuff the ballot.
Yeah, I'm about to go on my other account too and vote again. Like, come on.
Then I'm about to pull up with the burner.
Yeah.
What you call it? Big Task is saying, yeah, let's get it. Can't wait for that vid to drop. Oh, JD, you dropping a video? Let me know. I'll tweet it out. Let's see. Get those likes up from Soulfinger. Right at 65 likes. Thank you guys for supporting the stream. Let's see. Keep Mitch, but we should ask questions why his condition hasn't changed in 3 months. That's what I'm saying. I mean, timetable, I think, for the injury is right around from 3 to 5 months, but I would have thought we'd have seen him a lot, at least on the court, participating in team drills. You want to say you're holding him out from going full bore in games, cool, but at least in practice, he should be out there working with the team as opposed to doing some light sprints.
I just saw the worst comment I've ever seen all year from King Rigby.
What do you say? Oh, no, we don't want Cat.
And look at what you would give up for Cat. What?
No, he said keep Mitch, trade Noel, Burks, Obi, Knox, 2 or 3 first rounders for Cat.
What?
No. First, I don't think we're in the Cat sweepstakes, number one, because Cat and Thibs really didn't have the greatest tenure together over there with Minnie. It looks like once they went and got in Jimmy Butler kind of became the big dog on that team, and I don't think Cat was too appreciative of it. He didn't like that. So I don't think Cat would be willing to come here and deal with Thibs all over again. Maybe if we move on from Thibs and, JD believes, what's his name? Johnny Bryant is the heir apparent. So maybe if Thibs decides to retire and we promote Johnny Bryant to head coach, maybe they might have some more synergy, but I don't see Thibs and Cat working together. And I wouldn't make that deal. I wouldn't trade all of that to get him.
And
I'd rather trade Mitch. I trade Mitch, maybe Obi and a pick.
Like
I'm not
Cat is
doing more than that.
I'm not gonna give up all of that for a player who hasn't once made the playoffs on their own. Like, come on.
Yeah, I don't think he's that type of leader to really take his team,
Nah.
deep into the playoffs or anything like that. I don't think a team wins built around Cat unless you got two other superstars on the court with him. And I don't think we have one superstar. We got a real good star in Julius Randle, but I don't think we have bona fide superstars yet to pair with Cat to make a big move like that, to get the most out of a big move like that.
Yeah, like that. Cat is not the answer. Like, they only made the
We
playoffs.
got the answer, Sway.
Clearly because of Jimmy Butler. Like, there's no argument. Because of Jimmy Butler, they made the playoffs. Once Jimmy Butler left, they were one of the bottom teams again.
Panel question. He's saying, who is more important to the season, Mitch or Fournier?
Come on, man.
Well, we already know who you're going to pick. I don't even know why JD asked you.
Come on, man. Literally, all we did last season was talk about how we need shooting, and that's exactly what Fournier brings. He could create his own shot. He could shoot threes. He could shoot mid-ranges. Like, come on.
I think it's Mitch, because I think if you look at a series like the Hawks series, I think Mitch would have came up big. Actually, it's dope. JD's the one asking it, because we did a couple videos. It was me, him, George from Into the Knicks verse, talking about that Hawks matchup. And JD, before the series even started, mentioned that Clint Capella was going to be the biggest issue for the Knicks in that series. And if we had Mitch, we may be headed to the second round. And at that point, who knows? Because, the Hawks were still able to do what they had to do to advance. So I think it's going to be Mitch. I think Fournier is definitely going to be important for this team. But I think if you put Alec Burks into the lineup without to replace Fournier, I think you can still be pretty. You could operate similarly. But if you take Mitch out and you put Nerlens, Noel, you can see he can be abused in pick and roll situations like that. So I think it would be Mitch. Like I said, Mitch is just versatile defensively. I've seen plays where he's guarded 1 through 5. He's got the length to stop point guards from throwing a lob up there, and he's also still got the length to, even if they're not going to throw the lob and they're going to try to throw a floater, he can block that too and send that into the bleachers. So I think it's Mitch.
It's not, man. It's Fournier. The next issue, even talking about the playoffs, the next issue is that we couldn't score.
Say one time, the next issue is where we couldn't score?
Yeah. We barely scratched 100 points in the game. We cannot.
Yeah, but you got to remember, it says who's going to be more important, but we still not going. It's not like we're going into the series without Fournier. Yeah, to score would be nice to have additional scoring firepower, but we still got Kemba. We're going to see have an additional year of RJ Barrett. And if you're going to say that you can replace Mitch for somebody and get similar defensive performance, I don't think that's true. Because Noel, like I said, is not going to give you the same. He's not going to be able to do the same things out there defensively. And I think Jericho Sims, physically, he can do some of those things, but I just still think Mitch is just. It's just something special about Mitch, like the way he's able to just move out there on the court. I think Jericho Sims is athletic in the terms and the ability to get up off the floor, but I just think Mitch, the way he's lanky, the way he can, slide his feet, move side to side, he's just gonna have to get better defending pick and rolls a little bit, and he's gonna have to get better setting screens. But with that, I think Mitch is extremely important if we're gonna try and get through the East. Crazy part is both of these players, have some injury concerns too.
No, Fournier, not so much. Mitch, 100%, because he's not going to start the season. No, like, just because he's not going to start the season, like that is a concern. That's not me being biased or anything. That's literally a concern.
Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep talking. If I'm going to bring the poll up to I'm going to bring that question to the chat and see what they think.
J Lob said Mitch paying you.
What? Listen, if Mitch was paying me, I wouldn't have multiple jobs. Oh man, I'd be on an island somewhere. Who knows? Who will be more important this season? Let me see. Who will be more important this season for the Knicks? Mitch or my guy Evan Fournier from France? Let's see what they say. I think it's just Mitch. Mitch is just, you can't really replace, I don't think, what Mitch provides defensively. I think we can replace some of what Evan Fournier provides offensively.
Oh, like he literally gives us the spacing we need. His game perfectly complements
other players on the bench that could give us spacing.
Let me finish my thought first.
Oh!
Julius Randle and RJ Barrett, which is our focal point anyway. He can be on the court offensively with them and not get in their way. He won't. He does. Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, but Alec Burks can do the same thing. I'm sure Grimes can do the same thing if you ask them to do. I'm sure
not at the same level as Fournier. Remember,
not at the same level, but they can do it. Who's doing what? What center do we have on the roster that's guarding 1 through 5? If asked,
Mitch is not guarding 1 through 5.
Bro, I can show you footage of Mitch guarding 1 through 5 last season.
No, you can't.
Not right now. Don't put me on the spot. But if I could put it up, I could post it.
Tell me about some of those moments.
I can go on Twitter, post it. And you'll see Mitch is out there guarding 1 through 5. He has the ability to do so if he needs to. Nerlens Noel, I don't think is doing that. I don't think Jericho Sims is doing that.
Listen, man, ain't nobody on the Knicks roster doing that.
Definitely ain't doing that.
Ain't no one on the Knicks roster doing that, especially not Mitch.
Oh, here we go. All right, I'll show you. I got the footage. It's in the vault. I actually used the same footage in one of my videos too recently, maybe like about a couple of weeks ago. I can't say recently, I haven't uploaded a video in a while, but like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think I used it. He's guarding 1 through 5. Hey, it's a tight race too, Inf. Right now it says Mitch is at 50%. Maybe I need to stop talking. The more I talk, the more it goes in the opposite direction.
Yeah, I'm telling you, because see, look at what Knicks 100 at GM said. You know how many backdoor cuts we'll get because of Evan? A ton. Defenses are going to focus on him.
Oh, Fournier?
Yeah, because they know what they know what he does. They know that if the ball's in his hand, he can score and then he can shoot. He can get.
I got you right now. If I got you right now, what side of the court do you think the Knicks have the most concern, offensive or defensive?
Offensively. The
Knicks have the most concern right now offensively when you just said we brought in so much firepower? How?
No, I thought you was meant like what was our biggest concern?
Going into this season.
Right now that we have everything, we have to see how they gel. But if we're looking at last season, even with Mitch, our biggest concern was still offense.
Yeah, but we got to look at the roster we have now. With the roster we have now, what's the biggest concern for you? Offense or defense?
Defensively.
Okay, then. So Fournier is not really giving us, I don't think, much defensively. So if defense is the biggest concern, how is Mitch not more important than Fournier? I keep saying we have other offensive weapons. If we don't have Fournier, we have other players that can step up. But if we don't have Mitch, yes, Noel can step up, but Noel's not going to be doing the same for us. And on the side of the court that you just said is we have more concerns. So for me, it's going to be Mitch.
That doesn't make sense, though. If we're looking at the roster, if we're looking at our roster right now and our concern is defense, then clearly that means that Mitch isn't enough because our focus is defense.
Yeah, but no, our focus is defense because I just told you. You got Kemba, whose defensive rating last year was 114. You got Evan, whose defensive rating last year was 114. And you got RJ, whose defensive rating was 110. The reason defense is a concern has nothing to do with Mitchell Robinson. It's the 3 players we got guarding on the perimeter. So if we need somebody that's going to have to step up and help when perimeter players are able to attack Kemba, Evan, or RJ, then to me, I think Mitch is way more important than an Evan Fournier, who is going to be important. I don't want to diminish his value, but I feel like we have other players that could do similar things, as opposed to a Mitchell Robinson, who I think defensively he gives us a lot more than a Nerlens Noel, and he's able to defend in different situations or more situations than we would from a Nerlens Noel. I don't see Nerlens Noel going out there and having to stick a point guard out there if he gets caught on a switch.
Mitch is not guarding a point guard. Oh my goodness.
I mean, he's not going to follow the point guard up the court, but if there's a pick and roll and he's stuck on the point guard, he's going to guard the point guard and he's going to do a better job defending the point guard than Nerlens Noel.
They're going to do just about the same. The same.
All right, bro. Well, I'm gonna close the poll. It looks like pretty split. We got Mitch at 60%. I can't see Evan, but I would assume it would be 40%. That would make sense. I mean, that was a good question by JD. Salute to JD. I should have JD submit questions of the days for my live streams. Hey, JD, if you're watching, you're listening, consider that. Submit some question of the days for your boy. Help a brother out. Let's see. Big task. He's saying exactly. It's Keyshawn is saying nobody in the league really plays defense as a guard. I mean, defense isn't as important, I think, as it was back in the days, but I think people still play some decent defense.
I mean, it's literally players that you know by name to play defense, like Marcus Smart. Other than that, it's not really.
Agent Super Argo is saying offense is good. We lost some defense, though. Jay Lobs saying we don't even know when Mitch is coming back, bro. So how is he more important? Listen,
like we don't. He's probably not.
I still believe Mitchell Robinson is going to be more important to our success than an Evan Fournier, because let's say Evan Fournier, God forbid, goes down. We have other options that can give us similar production. I'm saying we got an issue because Mitchell Robinson is not available. It's not like we're having this conversation and saying this and acting like it's not an issue that Mitch isn't available. That's a legitimate issue. That's a legitimate concern, because now we're going to have to play Taj Gibson more minutes than either one of us would have wanted. Even though Taj Gibson showed last season he can, step up and provide quality minutes, but Mitch not being available is a major red alarm for us as Knicks fans, no? Or maybe it's just me, but Mitch not being out there to start the season, I think I won't say it's more troublesome than if Fournier wasn't available, because we just gave Fournier the bag. But I think out there on the court, I think we need Mitch more if we want to reach our highest potential than we need Evan Fournier. Because come playoff time, I look at our roster and I see shooters. I see shooters up and down the roster. I see people that can create for themselves and others up and down the roster. But I don't see players that can do what Mitchell Robinson does defensively. And you can say I'm caping for him, whatever the case may be, just what I see from my eye test.
So you're telling me in the playoffs, if we had Mitch and we lost Fournier, we'd be all right? What shooters do we have besides Fournier? Kemba?
Alec Burks. We got Emmanuel Quickly.
Kemba and
Eric Rose coming off. Well, he's not playing the position, but those are players that we still have shooting in the lineup.
No.
We would elevate Alec Burks. Alec Burks would get more minutes. RJ would see some more minutes after 3. You would just increase the amount of time Emmanuel Quickly's out there on the court.
But you're not going to have him and Kemba on the court together.
Who?
Quickly and Kemba.
Why? You'd have Quickly and Rose on the court together.
Yeah, because they're not the height of Kemba.
I definitely expect to see some rotations out there where you'll have Kemba and IQ out there on the court. They're not going to say, Kemba, you can only go out there when RJ's out there.
There's no way. He's way too small.
He's small. He's shorter. He's about a little smaller than me, but he's still going to have to go out there.
And we regular people. We ain't NBA height.
He was out there with Marcus Smart sometimes, and Marcus Smart ain't the tallest person in the world.
Yeah, but Marcus Smart is literally known as being a beast defender.
Yeah, but he's still not the biggest person in the room. I would see him and IQ out there together. Yeah, he's strong. True. But I would definitely see them out there together.
Let's see. Come on.
What you call it? Yes, you can find another Fournier. You can't find another Mitch.
Come on. Yeah, Mitch is so right.
JD got everybody in a frenzy. JD's like one of those like myths. He drops a question and then disappears. I don't think he responded since.
He's like
one of them YouTube legends. He said, "Hey, who's more important?" All right, I'll listen later.
It's crazy, man.
Keyshawn is saying we need Mitch, but if he's not healthy, we could trade for a big. if he's not healthy, we'd have to. I think we're deep enough, but we could still use an additional big man. I think I said that last week. Somebody commented.
Like I said, I'm interested to see what Sims can do.
Yeah. Because to me, I mean, that's probably your best option if you want to talk about a Mitch replacement. If you want to get your wish.
Listen, man, I already got my wish. Payton ain't on this team.
So you started the season on a positive already. I hear you.
I hated Payton. Oh my god! Anytime he would get minutes, hated it. So, like, if I have to choose between having Payton on the team or Mitch, I'm choosing Mitch. Like,
yeah, James Finnegan, he's agreeing with you. If he's saying last year the Knicks' biggest problem was scoring in pressure situations, Fournier will help stop those scoreless runs. Facts. Fournier is pretty clutch. I think JD was on with CP on Knicks Fan TV, and they were talking about their clutch closing lineups. Who would they have the closers out there? And that's why I think Fournier probably be out there with those lineups because he was clutch with the Magic, clutch with France. So he's a player that I would definitely put my trust in if we have to go out there and need somebody to take that shot. Because I think Julius Randle as a big, I mean, he has moves to create for himself, but I don't know if I necessarily want the ball in his rock, 5 seconds on the clock when we have players like Kemba, Fournier, and we would hope RJ can develop,
And we can't forget our closer last season, Derrick Rose.
Yeah, Derrick Rose. Well, Burks too. Burks was close. Burks was pretty clutch for us as well. But yeah, true. And right on that one. I think JD had commented. Yeah, here we go. Where he popped up. If it were up to Inf, Sims is starting day one. Over Noel, Inf?
Yeah. Well, actually, no, because we just paid Noel, so Noel would start, but Sims would get a bulk of the minutes.
What you call it? Knicks 100 is saying Sims out the gate more polished than Mitch. Well, yeah, you got to remember, Mitch didn't go to college. He didn't get the ability to learn at that level. He came straight into the league. Well, I won't say straight into the league. He took a little time off, but he didn't have that next step at college, at the collegiate level. So you look at Jericho Sims. I think Sims spent the full 4 years, if I'm not mistaken, in college. So you would expect him to.
Heck Breezo said he was like Sims out the gate at 22, not 19.
Well, yeah. So, Sims spent more time in college. He had that ability to kind of learn the game, where Mitch is learning on the fly. Mitch is learning in the best league in the world.
I mean, he better be learning. All he doing is sitting on the bench. Better sit there and observe.
This guy here. Oh, salute to Delano. Delano's in the chat.
Word. Salute.
Let's see. Let's read a few more comments and then we'll wrap it up here. Inf. Had a solid stream, you know how we do. I expect a 45-minute to an hour stream, and then somehow it turns into an hour and 30 minutes.
Regular too, always, man.
Say it again?
Always, for some reason.
Yeah. Like I say all the time flies when you're having fun. And it's always fun talking Knicks. Nick Gay is saying shout out to the chat. Salute to Nick Gay. Definitely a good Knicks fan or good member of the Knicks community. Always has some solid comments. Let's see. Mitch had 3 years, but they said out the gate. I think the question was out the gate. If you want to look at Mitch now, if you want to say Sims is more polished than Mitch is now, then that's a different conversation. But they said out the gate.
I mean, but even if that conversation is a close conversation, that's still bad on Mitch's part because you had 3 years of NBA experience, half of that which was spent on the bench.
If I forgot the game's on. What you doing Tuesday?
What am I doing?
I got tickets to the preseason game. I forgot. They're playing the Pacers.
Let me see. Tuesday?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm doing nothing.
You want to go to the game? You going to be in the city?
I got to double check. I mean, I'm going to be in the city, but I got to double check.
See, let me know. I completely forgot I had tickets to the preseason game. Yeah. So we'll go. Let's see. Why are we talking about the preseason game? JD, right? Yeah, okay. So, Inf, what do you expect? What do you want to see in Tuesday's preseason game against the Pacers?
Honestly, what I want to see is if Nerlens Noel can hit a 3. That's it. After that,
you gonna start with that off the bat?
Yeah, knock down one, just one. You don't got it. Just hit one. I don't care how many he takes. Hit one. That's the only thing I would do. You say
that now. If he goes out there and shoots 1 from 10, you're gonna be cursing.
1 for 10. You don't got it. Just hit one. I don't care how many he takes. Hit one. That's the only thing I would do.
You say that now. If he goes out there and shoots 1 from 10, you're gonna be cursing.
Nah, I just want to see. I want to see one go in. Like just hit one.
I want to see how RJ Barrett looks out there defensively. That's what I want to see. How RJ's out there looking. If he looks like he's going to be the player that we can have step up and be the primary defender out there for this team, go out and stop the opposing team's best wing player. What else do I want to see?
I want to see
how Kimba looks with his knee.
Yeah, I want to see
definitely how he's moving laterally. If he's able to get into the paint and finish, because I was on with Foxy and we talked about how Kimba, his game has kind of changed as he's been dealing with that injury. A lot more of his shots are coming from the 3-point line or in the 3-point area, as opposed to him trying to get to the basket and finish. So is he going to be a player
that helps us? That style of play, being that we already have Julius and RJ, so I'm not too concerned about that.
It could help us, but you would still like to see if he can be the Kimber of old, especially in those pressure situations when you want to try to get a look, see if he can get into the paint, collapse the defense, and then kick it to other players out there. So the knee is definitely a good one. I want to see IQ, what IQ's been doing. Can he add a little mid-range jump shot to his game instead of just relying heavily on the floater? How's his left looking? Is he able to create off the dribble without having to call for a screen? And if he does have to call for a screen, is he able to use the screen and then make the right reads? That's definitely something I want to see from IQ.
I want to see Obi. Are we going to get last season Obi, or are we going to get Summer League Obi?
Facts. Is Obi going to get better finishing at the rim? How are they going to use Obi? Are they just going to have Obi be the same type of player where he's just going to stand out there on the corner? Or are they going to start using him? We got a point guard in Kemba Walker now that can go out there and operate with him in the pick and roll, find him. Derrick Rose too. When Derrick Rose got here, he started to look for Obi a lot more than the other point guards out there. So that's what I would look for from Obi. I would look to see what rotations Thibs is going to use too. I think that'll be pretty important to see. Because I think last season, when I had my channel was fairly new when I started it, when around this time last season when they were doing preseason games. And I said, the lineup that they were using in the team media photos, I'm like, that's going to be the starting lineup knowing Thibs. And lo and behold, that was the starting lineup. And he used it in the preseason and he carried it over. So what he decides to do in the preseason, I think is going to be, he's not going to do a lot of experimentation, I don't think. I think what we see in the preseason is pretty much what we should expect in the regular season.
Not yet. I mean, listen, I also want to see Sims. I want to see Sims dominate. That way we can put all this Mitch stuff behind us, man.
Put it to bed? We'll see. Soul Fingers is saying he wants to see if Knox will get splinters and contribute while on the floor.
Listen, man, he's going to be at home playing Fortnite.
Latrell Sprero's wild. He says, does Burks remind you of MJ in fourth quarter? No. I wouldn't say that. Burks and Michael Jordan, I wouldn't use them in the same sentence. You should have put a period in between that and started a new sentence and then included Michael Jordan's name.
Yeah, like he's not even like Michael Jordan in high school.
Maybe Marcus Jordan. Nah, I'm disrespectful. I'm wilding with that one. That was wild disrespectful. Yeah, that was wild. Let me see. So hopefully Summer League Obi will also be regular season Obi because I'm tired of our draft picks playing well in the offseason and being bust in the regular season. Facts. I really didn't. Because I'm not too big on social media before I started the channel, so I really didn't see all these summer highlight films on Twitter because I'm not big on Twitter. So now I'm watching all of this, and I start doing my research, start looking at some older, workout films, and I'm like, yo, they don't do any of this in the game. What the hell is this? It's a good thing I didn't watch it because then I'd have been more upset than I am now. I'm like, yo, they don't do this. What's going on? Only thing I did see was Mitch doing that crazy, doing them dribble moves. I'm like, yeah, he got to get that out of here. He can shoot the three, but I don't want to see him trying, break off a hezzy on somebody. Or I ain't trying to see all that. No.
See Mitch coming down court, hit somebody with the shan guard.
Right? Like he Jokic or something. Nah, we don't need that. Catch and shoot from the corner three. I can live with that.
Listen, man.
Nick Life, all great questions. Looking forward to the next show. Hit me up with that early alert. I got you. I got to do better at scheduling, the live streams with enough time for you guys to be notified that we're about to go. Definitely got to do better on that. I'll work on that.
All right.
Anything else you want to see? Inf, trust me, Amir Sims gonna punish our bigs.
Yep, he gonna steal their minutes, man. It's over. Sims gonna do his
All right,
thing.
Inf, hour and 40 minutes. That's a great show. You know, it's a great way to lead it to tomorrow when my Giants go out there and lose. Because then I'm gonna have to stream again tomorrow. I don't know how I stream on Sundays after watching the Giants play.
Wait, don't you be in a bad mood?
Yes. Well, you know, you start talking Knicks to cheer me up a little bit, but it takes some work. Luckily, they lose at like 4:00, and I don't stream until 9:30. So that gives me a little time to recover. Yeah, to recover. Facts. All right, but chat, thank you. You guys do what you normally do, and that's provide solid content for us to discuss here on the show. Chat, SV Nation, you guys drive the show. You guys make this channel what it is. You know, if I'm uploading these videos or going live to nobody viewing, it really doesn't make an impact. So any impact I have in this Knicks community is all credited to you guys. So thank you for tuning in. Inf, thank you for streaming with me. You know, definitely appreciate you taking out the time to be on here with me and to talk Knicks. Anything else you want to add, Inf, before we head out?
We're just looking forward to a great Knicks season.
All right. So chat, thank you once again for holding us down. I'm Quis. That's my guy, Inf, hosting this latest edition of Live here on Sports Vibes TV. Appreciate all you do. Once again, Quis, Inf, we out.